वसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. I welcome everyone today, in the people, devotees in the temple as well as who are online. We are studying Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, and we are trying to apply it in our life. Last week, because there was some program over here, we couldn't continue with our session, so there is a gap of 15 days, and I hope we'll try to recap something so that we are again in the line, how the things are left in the last Pravachan. So we will be looking at the sloka on second chapter, 53rd sloka. That is what we were looking at. We are looking at 53rd sloka. So I will chant the 53rd sloka first, and then we will go with the understanding of it. Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthasyati nischala samadhavachala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi. Shruti vipratipanna te. We were talking about the fruitive actions. So whenever we do any puja, whenever we do any karma kand, whenever we study something, there is a factor, and the factor is the return. We are expecting the return. We are expecting the fruitive part of the Vedas. So it says that when the intellect ceases to be allured, our intellect should not get allured. Our intellect should not be pulled in. Even for the study of Vedas, even for the doing the prayer, if it is allured by the fruitive section of it, then we will not be having a Nischala buddhi, Nischala. And we were talking about 5 ways of learning in it. How does a person learn? Trial error method, by effort, evaluation and correction. And then we were also looking at the Prakriti, to get connected with the Prakriti. So we learn how the bird has got the wings to fly. So we design an aeroplane which has got the wings, and like that. So we do the trial and error, we do the copying. Then we also talked about how do we learn. We learn by conditional response, and we took the example of a dog and the bell. When the bell rings, then only the dog will start eating, otherwise not. So in other words, it is a referencing. We learn by referencing. Then we also learn by insight, using the results for evaluation and looking and evaluating the insight. We do the evaluation by insight. And then learning by imitation from the Prakriti, copying the people. And another one is transferring by training. So we train some people, and those people, that is called as a train the trainer. So we train the trainers, and the trainers are going to train the other people. So why were we looking at how does a person learns? Because here it is written, Shruti vipratipanna, fruitive actions. So all this learning has to be without fruitive action. If this learning, all these are included in the science of ritual. So we were talking about when a person learns, there is a factor of return in it. Otherwise, we do not learn. In our life, whatever we do, there is an expectation of return. We like to have the returns on whatever action we do. And here God is telling that Srutivi Pratipannati means if you want to stabilize your brain, intellect, yada sthasyati nischala. If you want to make your intellect nischala, and we are going to talk about these 2 words, Nischala and Achala. So when the body becomes, the intellect becomes unshaken, when it is going to decide something and go towards it without wavering from that idea, without wavering from without wavering from the goal which we want to achieve, then in that case we will be able to not become achyut. We will be becoming stable in our thinking and we will be able to go towards it. So what happens that when we have the fruit in our mind, even if it is from the Vedas, when we have got the fruit in our mind, what happens that because of the impact of the fruit, favorable or non-favorable or partially favorable, because of the impact of the fruit, our intellect gets impacted. When we either become overwhelmed or we become depressed. When this happens, our buddhi, our intellect is not remaining stable. So God is telling that forget about the other part. Even for the Vedas, the fruitive action should not be in consideration to do the karma as per the Vedas. In other words, what it means is that even if we are not even doing the regular work, even if we are studying, we are doing the karma kand, we are doing the puja, we are studying the Vedas, even studying the Gita itself, if we have got a fruit in our mind to do that action, our brain, our intellect will not remain Nischala. And that is why God is telling that when your intellect ceases to be allured, we should not get allured at all, even by the fruitive section of the Vedas, and remains steadfast. Samadha vachala buddhis. Samadhi means in divine consciousness. It will become in consciousness, it will become in divine consciousness, then we will attain the perfect state of yoga. Tada yogama vapsasi. So how does it apply? This looks very deep. How does it apply in our daily life? That is the question, and that is the purpose of our whole Gita Pravachan. How do we apply Shrimad Bhagavad Gita in our life every day? So here it is telling the reference of the Vedas, Shruti Viprati. But even in our regular life also, if our focus is on the fruit, and if our focus is only by the returns of the actions, then in that case we will not have the correct way of working. We will not have the correct state of mind to enjoy our life. Even we will not have that also. So it is important. It is important that we have a very stable mind even to do a perfect action. And to have a stable mind, we should not be allured by the fruits of the Vedas or whatever work we are doing. So, is it difficult if we have got the fruits in our mind? Without fruit in our mind, how will we decide our work? How will we, be able to decide what I want to do? How I will be able to decide the resources and all that? So, is it difficult? And another part is everybody doesn't have the equal strength. Everybody doesn't have the strength in intellect to do a work without fruit. Everybody is mainly driven through the fruit. And another part is that if we are telling that you go into the divine consciousness, the God is too big and complicated to understand for many people. So in that case also, if it is complicated, it is too big, how will I be able to understand and get my consciousness, get into the divine consciousness and get connected, which is tadava yogama vapsasi. So the question here, there are many questions are raised. So one is, should we not do the rituals? Should we? Is it a useless thing? Is it a something? Because if we do not need anything, why we should be doing a ritual? If we do not expect anything, why we should be doing a ritual? So if the rituals are not for the fruit, then rituals are for what? पूजा क्यों करनी चाहिए अगर कोई फल नहीं चाहिए? If we do not need any फल, then why should we do the puja? Why we should be doing? So this is going into the advantage of and if we are not doing puja, then whom will we pray? Who is the person whom we are going to connect with? How will we do our gratitude towards the God? This is another question. How will we be able to express our feelings towards the creator of the world? So, should we not do the puja? So, it is important that during the karma kand, during any puja, or very frankly, during doing any work, it is important that we develop a relationship. When there is a relationship, then in that case the intellect is replaced by the Shraddha. The Shraddha is the one who is creating. Shraddha is the one who is going to be replacing the intellect part. So karma kand should create a understanding of Shraddha in our mind. That is important. Karma kand should create Shraddha in our mind. That is why we have to do the karma kand or murti puja. And we should develop a relationship. A Shraddha is developed through a relationship. Let us take an example. Suppose there is a child and there is a father. Now father is putting the child at a higher level on a chair or on a stool, and then the child is having a fear that I will fall down. But the father is telling that, okay, don't worry, I am here, if you fall, I will catch you. And then father is also telling the child that you jump, I will catch you. If the child has got a complete faith, the child has got a complete Shraddha. Here the faith word is incomplete because faith word comes from Abrahamic religion. Faith means something where there is no intellect. So you have to believe it. That is a faith. But Shraddha means there is an intellect of relationship. So there is a difference as a Shraddha, as an intellect of relationship. When this happens, the Shraddha happens when the child is told that you jump, the child will be jumping. And the father will hold him also. So the child will develop a Shraddha that whenever I fall, the father is going to catch me, father is going to save me from the falling, father is going to save me from getting injured. That is what the child develops. And that is Shraddha. In the same way, when we are the children of the God, we are the children of the Creator, we should have that Shraddha being developed in our mind while doing the karma kand, and not the fruits of the ritual. When we are doing the puja, we should have the relationship building, the building of the relationship, building of the Shraddha in our mind, and not the fruit of doing the karma kand. So this is very important part, because what happens that when we do a puja only through the feeling of return, either we get it or we do not get it. Depending on that, we develop the relationship with the God. Oh, somebody will say, oh, I did so many mala, I did so many fasting Mondays. I did 20 Mondays fasting, and then nothing happened. So God is not right, God is not correct, or God is not there. They will comment it. Why will they comment it? Because their connection with the God is through the fruit. The connection with the God is not through the relationship. That is what is happening. That is what happens. So a person, even after doing 20 fasting Mondays, will not develop the relationship. And with that kind of a mind, with that kind of intellect, when that person goes around in the society, he or she will have the same intellect, and with that intellect, when they work around in the society, they will be unhappy, because exactly same thing happens when the fruits are coming. Fruits are never equal to expectation, and even if they are higher than expectation, they are still having bad effects. So, the purpose of the Vedas, purpose of the Karmakand is to develop a relationship. It should develop a quality in our mind. See, the Nischala Buddhi, the unwavering mind, unwavering intellect will only be created when we are not looking at the fruit. This is the meaning of it. So, then why rituals? Somebody will ask that why there is a ritual. Why do we need a ritual in our life? Why there is a ritual given in the Vedas? If Vedas are telling that do not look at the fruits, why there are rituals? So the purpose of the ritual is to, and the Murti Puja for that matter, is to develop the intellect, to develop concentration, to develop a habit of concentration. Because it is only through the concentration we develop the relationship. So, what is happening here is that there is in the Murti Puja, in the science of idol worship, what is happening is that we have got, let us take an example. It will be more easier to understand. When we take an example of a movie, when we go to a movie and when we see the movie, we forget about the world, we forget about the things around us. We have all the focus on the movie, and we feel happy, we feel sad, we feel angry, and we feel romantic part, and all those things which are coming in the movie. We go through those emotions in our life. We go through the emotions during that 3 hours or 2 hour movie. So what happens? It happens that when the movie is going on, we are steady in our seat, and the movie is moving. So there is a motion on the screen, there is a movement, there are scenes coming up in the movie. So because of that, what happens is that when the object is moving, the subject is steady. If there is a person who is giving a lecture, like me, I am giving a lecture. So when a person is not moving, when the object is not moving, the subject has to move. That is why we say sometimes that, oh, this professor is very boring. Why? Because he is just sitting over there and he is talking. He is just sitting there and he is talking. He is not doing any work, any movement. He is not doing any, he is not going anywhere, and he is just talking from the same place. Then what happens? The concentration of the students change. They cannot keep concentration. They cannot understand the topic because they lose the concentration. So when the object is moving, the subject will be able to concentrate. When the object is steady, the subject keeps moving. In case of a Murti Puja, the object is moving. So when the object is moving, when we are doing a milk over the Lord Shiva, and we are putting a flower, we are doing the akshat and chandan, what happens is that we are moving the object. When the object is moving, the subject, that is us, we are going to have a concentration, and that is why we need a karma kand. We need a method to develop a concentration. That is what is required. So we will have to, here we have got 2 words and we have to understand it. Now Achala and Nischala. Because here there are 2 words, Samadha, Vachala, Buddhi. Samadhi, Samadho means in divine consciousness. The Achala Buddhi, steadfast. So what is the difference between Achal and Nischal? 2 words. Achal means one which does not shake or move. That is Achal. Achal means we do not shake or move. We are continuously, fixed on our point. And Nischal means whatever you have decided, that decision does not move. So the word Nischay in Hindi means decision. मैंने ये निश्चय किया, मैंने ये decision लिया. So there are two places where a person has to be, a human has to be steadfast. One is a place where it is a decision making process, and the second place is where it is a action part of the process. Action part of the process needs achala, and the decision part of the process is needing the nischala. A human intellect has to be in both areas steadfast. If the nischay moves, the action moves. If the actions are not correct, then the nischay will be changing. So both are required, and that is why the achala buddhi and nischala, that is what is important. So here, why the nischal word is used with the fruitive action? Because looking at the fruit, we decide. Our decisions are looked at by looking at the fruit. And that is why what happens is, when our decision is looking at the fruit and the fruit changes, so our decision changes. So Nischala means related to the fruit and related to decision, do not waver, do not change, be steadfast. And Achala means while the decision has already been taken and we are going ahead with our actions, do not waver or do not shake away from your actions because you already decided it. So that is why the Nischala word came first and Achala came in the second stanza. Whatever God is telling is very important, even selection of the word and where it is supposed to be told. So Srutivi Pratipannate means while looking at the fruit, the decision making is coming, and then Samadha Achala Buddhi, then in the concentration, the work is coming as a Achala. That is why there are two different words, Achala and Nischala has been taken and given by the God in a first and second stanza. Now, there is important part here that here in both cases the God is talking about the intellect. So, development of intellect through understanding and not by the rules is the method. Development of intellect is through the understanding and not by the rules. That is important. Because the rules make us non-sensitive. This intellect cannot be, or Nischala cannot be through a rule. We all know that, in a case of military, when we look at the military, we see that, people are already very much, they are very strong in decision. We see that they do a lot of work. They do mighty actions and they win over in difficult situation. Does it mean that their intellect has been developed? So there is a difference between intellect developed through the rules and intellect developed through the understanding. When intellect is developed through the rules, what happens is that unless the rule is there, the intellect becomes weak. And the moment the rule is removed, the person goes back to the original. So it is important that we develop the intellect through the understanding and not through the rule. How does it apply in our practical life? That is applicable to our kids. If there is a father or there are parents who are very strict, who make some rules, and they make sure that the kids are going as per the rule for all the time. When they are young, when they are teenager, every time they will make very strong, very strict rules. What is seen generally? In general, what is seen? If the understanding of the importance of that rule, understanding of the rule and why it is there is not developed, what will happen? What will happen? That the kids, the moment the rule is gone, the kids go to the college, the kids go away from the the control of the parents, the kids go bad. The kids do not follow those rules even though they are very good for them. Why? Because the understanding is not developed. The rules are there to, rules are required, but rules are required to guide. Rules are not there to control. That is a limitation of rule. And that is why the Achala and Nischala only can happen through the understanding. And it cannot be done by the rules, because people will say that, oh, if you make the rule, then the intellect will not go here and there. The fear of the rules fades away. The fear of the rules are fading away. When the rules are, suppose sometimes there are rules which are there, but once a person starts slowly breaking the rule or trying to twist the rule or bend the rule, and they see that, oh, this rule is not going to harm me, they will start more and more towards it, and eventually the fear of the rule are also getting fade away. And so it is neither the development of understanding nor the control of the rules. How is it applicable to us? It is very simply applicable to us. It is, see, when the doctor tells us that, oh, if you are going to smoke, you are going to have a lung cancer. If you are going to smoke, you will have this disease problem. You will eat this kind of food, you will have a problem. The doctor tells us. It is a rule. It is a rule of the nature. It is rule of our body, that we are not supposed to take any toxic food or any such kind of intoxication. But what happens? Slowly the fear goes away and people keep smoking, people keep eating wrong things. Unless it is a really, really bad situation where the doctor tells that if you are going to do this, you are going to die within 30 days. But even in that case also, even if we leave because the understanding is not developed, what happens is that we are not happy. We are not happy in our life. We are restricted. We feel that this is not the life at all. That is what happens. So fear of the rules fade away with that. And then compulsion will push to do wrong things. If we are compelling a person to do something, that person who is compelled to do it will always find a place, always find an opportunity to escape. So the moment they escape, it will rather spring, it will like double push, double jump, like a spring. And it will not be helpful at all. So a compulsion will, or if there is a complete compulsion, a very, very strict rule, you put the people like in jail and all that, what will happen? Number one, people will not enjoy their life. That is one problem. The second problem is that they will always find the opportunity to break it. It will not be a healthy society if we have got only the rules. So, how the intellect should be developed in practical life? It is through education and training and the pride. So, it is through the education and training. So, education by studying the Vedas, by studying the Shrimad Bhagavad Gita and such scriptures, then by doing and practicing those things in real life through the training. And the most important, the very first one is to take the pride in oneself. We have to develop a pride. We have seen that in the society, in the history before, the people who have developed the pride for themselves have risen from the ashes. They have risen from the ashes. People who have taken the pride in their culture. People who have taken the pride in their ancestry. And remember, here it is the word pride and not the ego. Because if they develop an ego, they will hurt the other people. But here it is the pride. Usko abhiman nahi, swabhiman hona chahiye. They should have developed a self-respect. A simple example is that when a father is going to tell, again I will take the example of smoking. When a father is going to tell the child that you do not smoke because it is not good for you. See, I am not smoking and I am healthy. The training is there, the education is there, but the pride, when the pride will come, the child will think that, oh, you know what, I am the son of a father who has never smoked. Why should I smoke? Why should I do this wrong thing? Why should I take bribe? Why should I do wrong things in my life? Why should I get intoxication? Because I am coming from an ancestry who have resisted this kind of a temptation. This pride, when this pride is understood in the intellect of the child will never do it. Then we do not need any rules. We do not need any control. We do not need any observation on those people because the intellect is developed. Because the intellect is developed. It's very important. So, our whole purpose of Karmakand is to develop the relationship with the God and to develop the intellect. To develop the intellect so that we develop the pride for ourselves that I am the son of the God. That is how we are all. Hum sab Bhagwan ke bacche hain. That word is coming from that. That one sentence has got a very deep meaning. We are all the children of God. When we are all the children of God, we are son or daughter of the God. How does that feeling changes? The psychology of the person is explained here in Shruti vi pratipannate yada sthasyati Nischala samadha vachala buddhis tada yogam avapsasi. That is the sloka. This sloka is trying to explain it. So here we have to do some retrospection that when Arjun asked, why should I be killing? Why should I be killing my relatives in the war? Why should I be fighting the war? And I do not need any kingdom just by killing my relatives. And if there are so many people killed, there will be imbalance in the society between man and woman, and then there is going to be a problem of perversion. So, in that thing, the God has answered up to the sloka 53. And here, what God has given us as a sequencing is that first is you develop your intellect. That is the first part. God is always focusing here in the chapter 2 of Sankhya Yoga that develop the intellect. Buddhi Yukta. Connect and develop your intellect. That is the path. And while developing the intellect, how can we develop an intellect? Sangha tyaktva and phalam tyaktva. You leave, you do not focus on the fruit, and also you do not get connected. And then we looked into it a lot in detail that if we are disconnected, does it mean that we have to go in the forest or we have not to wear any clothes and just go like a sadhu or something? No, we have to work exactly what we are doing. We have to do exactly what we are doing. We have to get our education, we have to get married and get children, we have to do our business, we have to earn money, we have to spend money. We have bungalows and cars. We have got a good house. We have got we go around in the world. We go on tours. Everything what we are doing, we can continue and we should continue doing the same thing. There is no change. But Sangha Tyaktva means we are disconnected with the allurance of that, and by that we understood what is the moha and tyaga. We understood the word moha and we understood the word tyaga. We understood these two words. And then importance and use of intellect in meditation and ritual. That is what we discuss even now in this sloka also. There is an importance of intellect to be used. Only sirf shraddha nahi chalegi, sirf bhakti nahi chalegi. Because any shraddha, if it is not supported through the intellect, will break. You get a result once, twice, adverse result 3 times, 4 times, 10 times. The shraddha will not be able to sustain because it is like a concrete, like a concrete building is made. There are some steel bars inside it which takes the tension load, which takes the bending moment. And then there is a concrete which takes the compression load. All those people who are engineers, they will be knowing about this. So a compression load is taken by the concrete and the tensile load and the bending moments are taken by the steel bar. In the same way, in the path of bhakti, in the path of worshipping the God, as per the Sanatana Dharma, we need both. We need intellect to understand, and we need Shraddha to continue. So intellect is is very important. We should be having unshaken, Nischala, steadfast, going through the Moha Kalilam, and we went through the whole world as Moha Kalilam, like Moha, which is like a marshy land. So now, when we are told so much about all these theoretical things, we will have a question. Do we have any such person on the surface of the earth? Do we have any person who lives like this? If there is a person who is living like this, how do we identify that person? How do we see that? And this same question has also come in the mind of Arjuna. So the next sloka, the 54th sloka, is a question from Arjuna. So I will chant the sloka. Arjuna Uvacha Sthit Pragnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. Arjuna is asking, Arjuna is telling that you told me all these theoretical things, but I want to know exactly how a person whose intellect is steadfast, who has got the Nischala and Achala Buddhi, intellectual developed up to that level, who has got Sangha Tyaktva and Phalam Tyaktva, what actually, how does that person move around? So, Sthita Pragya, the Arjuna uses the word here as Sthita Pragya. Pragya means intellect. Sthita means sthir, steady. The person whose intellect has become steady. Ka bhasha. How does he or she talk? Which kind of language they use? How do they communicate? Samadhisthasya Keshava. Keshava means the Lord Krishna. Samadhi. Samadhi means how do they concentrate in the divine consciousness? How exactly they are doing it? Sthitadhi kim prabhasheta. How Sthitadhi, how the enlightened person, prabhasheta, how does he talk? Which kind of language he use? How does he talk? And kima sita vrajeta kim. Vrajet means move around. A person. So Arjuna is asking, O Keshav, what is the disposition of one who is situated in divine consciousness? And how does that enlightened person talk? How does he sit? How does he walk? What kind of language he uses and all that. So, there is very important part here. And it is not only the sloka, but it is extremely important that one thing is that even if there is a God in front of you, and even if there is a God telling you something, but if we are not clear, if we are not having a understanding about it, ask a question. There is a possibility, there is a opportunity in Sanatana Dharma that we can ask a question. We can ask a question to anyone at any given time. We can always ask a question. Do not fear from not asking a question. Do not get afraid to ask a question. So even if Krishna is telling so much things about the Sankhya Yoga, Arjuna is asking a question. This is important part. We can ask the question till we are satisfied and clear from our doubt. Yes, we can always ask question in a polite way. We can represent it in a good way. We are not there to, judge a person or challenge a person. We are not there to, make a fun out of a person. But we are we are asking a question. This is very important that we can always ask a question. So, even if there is a God in front of you and God is telling you something, you can still ask a question. That is number first part, very important part. Fear of not asking. So, what happens that if we have a fear of not asking, the doubt remains in our mind. Sometimes we meet some great people, those people are big celebrities. Those people are having a big name in the world. They are either in the field of religion, they are either in the field of money or industry, they are in the field of movies and media. They can be in multiple areas. They can be in multiple places. They can be from any area. They can be a celebrity, big man, and we are fearful to ask a question. So they tell us something, they talk to us something, we don't ask any question, and we just, nod our head, oh yes, 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 and we continue. What happens? Because of that, the doubt remains in our mind. The question still remains in our mind. When the question remains in our mind, we are not clear, and then we cannot follow those points, or we cannot follow what is being told to us. It is a waste. It is a waste to listen to those things. It is a waste for even that person who is talking about those points. So it is very important that we ask a question, and that is why Arjun is also asking a question. Now, it is responsibility of the speaker as well as listener for a two-way communication. It is very important that we have got a two-way communication. We can always ask a question. There should be a two-way communication, and it is the responsibility of the speaker to make a situation that a person is feeling comfortable to ask a question. If the person who is a speaker is too much glorious, if the person is too much high celebrity, then people are even afraid to go in front of them. So it is important for a sadhu, it is important for a Sthit Pragya to make sure that their impression, their personality is in par, is at par, at least it looks at par with the common man. This is very important. If there is a sadhu, there is a big guy who comes with a big, a colorful dress, some kind of a makeup and all, and they look so big, they have got a big pompous thing, people will not be able to go near to them. People will not be able to ask them any question. People will not be able to understand what they are telling. So it is important that a person who is having that great knowledge still remains extremely simple and extremely normal like all other people. This is important. If we are not, look at this, even in Gita also we know, Sri Krishna is a Yogeshwar Krishna. He is a creator. But what is he doing? He is holding the reins of a chariot, and he is telling Arjun that I am going to drive your chariot. The creator of the world, who is controlling the sun and the moon and the stars universe, that creator of the world, creator of the universe, is holding the rein, Sarathi. He is becoming a charioteer. मैं तुम्हारे घोड़े चलाऊंगा. I will drive your chariot. You fight, I am going to drive your chariot. What exactly is this showing? This is showing very clearly that people who have got the extreme knowledge, people who have got the good amount of knowledge, and if you want to be with the people, you have to guide the people, you have to direct the people in the positive way, then you should be looking and behaving as normal as other people. But what do we see in present life? A person who is celebrity, a person who is a higher level, has to have a different look. That is the first part. They should have a different look. In movies, a hero or heroine is supposed to wear a dress which is not normal to wear in the public. We get big devotees, see big sadhu mahatmas, they have got a different dress. Namaskar, I have got the namaskar, I am not joking on them. But the thing is, when that is happening, the normal people will not be able to connect with it. If I see a big guy, a very big celebrity, how will I be able to guide my child to be like him? Because I cannot connect with him. That is the problem. And that is why even the creator of the universe became a Sarathi. And when he becomes Sarathi, the Arjun has got the guts or the curiosity or even he has no fear to ask the question. So this is extremely important. This sloka, we will understand the sloka. But the important part is that we can ask a question, and it is the responsibility of the speaker to be in a very normal level so that people have got no fear to ask the question. And that is why in Sanskrit there is a word, na vichitra vesham kuryat. You are not supposed to wear a very vichitra vesh, a very unique dress is not allowed for the Brahma Jnani to wear. A Jnani will wear a very normal clothes. He will wear a jeans and t-shirt, doesn't matter. Because then only that person will be able to move around in the society. That person will be able to move around with the people and give the understanding about that jnana, the Atma Jnana to the people. If they wear a costume, they wear a makeup of a very unique thing, then people will not be able to connect it. Because I cannot wear that dress every day while going to the job. I cannot wear this dress every day while doing my cooking at home, or while being in the shop, or while going to the college. So that is why it is important that we do not have a vichitra vesham. That is why vichitra vesham na kuryat is the slogan in Sanskrit. And then there is impact of not asking the question. So incorrect action, then desired. This is one part. If we understand it wrongly, then we will go through an incorrect action. So it is important to ask a question. And then the wrong impression or information is carried all along the generation. And this is where exactly the God has told that yada idai dharmasya. It will come as a sloka later on. But we know the sloka very well. Yada idai dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Yeah. Dharmasya glani. Somebody will ask, the kids will ask, and I always love the questions. So sometimes the kids are asking you the question that if God has come and God has cleared everything, God has taken the avatar and corrected everything, why does God need to come again and again? Because God is the best. God is the best. God has taken an action to correct the world. When a best person is correcting the thing, how can that thing can change again? How that can go bad again? How come the dharma mein glani fir se kaise aa sakti hai? How can the glani in dharma can come again when God has taken the avatar once? It cannot, because He is a perfect one. The glani comes when the person doesn't ask a question. When the person doesn't ask a question, the misunderstanding happen, the incorrect understanding happen, and then it goes through the generations. Again the dharma mein glani, will be coming again, and then because of that the God has to take the avatar again and again. That is important. That is why God has to take avatar again and again. Otherwise, why ek baar kar do sab theek ho jayega? If the God is there, He will do it once and everything will be clear. So the responsibility of understanding is in the listener. The listener has to make sure that if there are any problems or any difficulty in understanding, ask a question. You can ask a question to anyone, even if they are having a big celebrity name, even if they are having a big, great costume and a big thing. Ask a question if you have got any question in the mind. Yes, ask politely. How to ask is a different part. But we must ask a question. Then only our mind will be clear. So here the Arjuna is asking the question that is there a real life visibility of a person? Can we really visibly see a person who has got Sthit Pragya, whose intellect is steadfast? And the word here for that person is Sthit Pragya. So why do we need to see why Arjuna is asking it? Arjuna is asking it because, as we saw earlier, one of the method of a human being to learn is by copying. So if I see a Sthit Pragya, I will copy that person and I will also become a Sthit Pragya. That is what Arjuna is looking for. So he is telling that how do I see, or how do I find a person? By watching the person. When I see the person, how does he speak, he talk, he walk, he sits. If I understand that, then I will try to search a person like that, who is behaving like that, who will be a Sthit Pragya, and I can become a Sthit Pragya. That is why Arjuna is asking this question. We can develop this quality and behave in the same way. So it is very important to see that Arjuna understands that such person still lives in his life. So here one of the understanding or misunderstanding is that anybody who is Sthita Pragya, whose intellect is Sthita, whose intellect is steadfast, he will leave the society. We have got a very clear-cut misunderstanding. We have got a very clear-cut misunderstanding that person who has got this level of intellect will leave the world. Sannyasi, when somebody says that somebody is sannyasi, what kind of an image is coming in our mind? In our mind, suppose somebody says this person is a sannyasi, then what image comes in our mind? The person is wearing a Bhagvad, the saffron clothes. A person is having some tripund or some kind of a, makeup on the face. The person is having some unique way of hairstyle. The person is having some mala and everything, around the wrist and all that. He is having some kind of a dand or something in the hand, and he is walking, like that. And he is not doing any job. He is not doing a job. He is not doing business. He is not earning money. He is not having family. Brahmachari, another misunderstood word. So he is not having family, and he is not having kids, or he is thinking women are untouchable, and all those things comes in our mind when we say sannyasi, right? When we say sannyasi, that is what comes in our mind. Sadhu, sannyasi, Maharaj, all those things are coming in our mind when we see this. Can we imagine a sannyasi who has got a jeans and t-shirt wearing, who is having a family? We cannot. Because our understanding of sannyasi is external, it is not internal. Here God is telling, here Arjuna is also asking, and God is telling, Sthita Pragya. One whose intellect is steady, he is a sannyasi. One whose intellect is steady, he is a developed person. So we want to identify that. Otherwise somebody will say, it is very easy to identify sannyasi. Look at his clothes, look at his makeup. But it's not like that. It is by the intellect of that person. And that is why Arjuna has asked the question with the word Sthita Pragya. Sthita Pragya. It's very important. And we can learn through copying them. We can follow their path. We can listen to their words and understand. And that is why he is asking this question, that I want to understand. So tell me, how can I find a person like that? By looking at the person. But here the problem is that Sthita Pragya is not a physical thing, as we saw. His intellect is steady. He is like a hydrophobic layer. So when the water falls on it, it doesn't get wet. But you can't see it. A Sthita Pragya will work as usual as other people. He will have his own family. He will have his own business or job. He will be working. He will be having his house. He will be having his car. But he is untouched. That is why we have got an example of Janak. Janak Videhi. We call that Videhi, the father of the Devi Sita. His name was Janak, but he is also called as Janak Videhi. Why is king called Videhi? He was a king. He was sitting on the throne. He was ruling the kingdom. He must have been fighting. He must have been even killing the people in the war. He must have been wearing, good clothes and all the ornaments. So you can't say, but he was untouched by that. So just by looking at a person, it is not possible because usually they look exactly like us. They look like us. They have got family. They do not look different by clothes, money, etc. They do not look different by the dress code and wearing special makeup. The person may possess lots of property and money, and while still having that, the person can be a Sthit Pragya. That is what a Sthit Pragya will be. So who is Sthit Pragya? One who has got a steady intellect. How can we achieve? Many books are written on this one word, Sthit Pragya. Those intellects are stronger than mind. मन से ज्यादा बुद्धि की ताकत होती है. Yeah, this is what is the Sthit Pragya will be. So, how a person is walking, how a person is sitting and talking with each other with steady intellect. What will be the difference? Will that person not be angry? Will that person will not be taking the advantage of the fruits? Will that person will not be taking the enjoyment of the fruits? Will be there. There is an example, very simple example that suppose there is Adi Shankaracharya. Suppose he comes here by chance and he is sitting here and Adi Shankaracharya is eating the Srikhanda, any sweet for that matter, jalebi, any sweet. When we are eating the Srikhand and Adi Shankaracharya is eating the Srikhand or jalebi, will it not feel sweet in his mouth? It will. The tongue of Adi Shankaracharya will also feel the same sweetness of the jalebi as we feel. There will be no difference. He will also say that this jalebi is sweet. So what's the difference between Adi Shankaracharya and us? He will remember that sweetness and then he will remember the God. He will connect it with the God, the relationship. That my God has given me a jalebi today and I am enjoying the jalebi. That is what is prasad. And we will eat jalebi. Oh, I got this jalebi because I earned $50 today and I am having a party for me. And then I am eating the jalebi from my hard work. This is the difference between Shankaracharya eating jalebi and a Manubai eating jalebi. That is the difference. Otherwise, both will look same. Both will be sitting together, both will be eating jalebi. It will not look any difference. That is why to identify a Sthit Pragya is very challenging. It's very, very difficult. A Sthit Pragya cannot be identified just by the costume, by the look. That is a problem. So, it is already 11 o'clock. When I come next time, next Saturday, we'll look at this, what the God has answered for the Sthit Pragya. What God has answered for the question that how does this Sthit Pragya walk and talk and look and communicate. This is the difference. So that is why we will go further on this word. It's very important. So I come on next Saturday again 10 to 11 and we will go further on the 55th sloka of the second chapter. Till then I wish everyone a very happy weekend and see you on next Saturday at 10 o'clock again. Vasudevasutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Para Brahma Tasmai Sri